Welcome to Truish, your soft news bulletin, delivered hot off the press to you by me, Daisy Maskell. And joining me this week as my expert correspondent is Nikki.
Hello.
Hello, how are you, Nikki?
I'm good, thank you.
Good.
Yeah.
We were just having a little bit of a chat just before we started rolling about all of the weird and wonderful jobs you've had in your time.
Yeah.
Can you talk to me about, you just mentioned that you used to do child's face painting.
Yeah, so I used to work in a zoo. I've worked in a couple of zoos in my life, but one of them was doing some face painting alongside doing things like showing snakes to the public, cockroaches, spiders, all of that sort of fun stuff. So yeah, that zoo is sadly no longer going. It was Bristol Zoo. I did absolutely love working at Bristol Zoo. But we were just saying how I've managed to avoid the lurgy.
Like your immune system is undefeatable just because you've built up such a tolerance after being around.
Yeah, and I think it's from
kids.
face painting, and you know, maybe their practices of not cleaning things quite so often when they should do. I can say it now because the business has gone under. But yes, I think it's probably helped me strengthen my immunity over the years.
That you must have developed such a specific skill as well, because to keep a kid's attention for long enough for you to be able to get some sort of picture on their face must be quite an art to master.
Oh, some kids, there was just no, you're getting 3 stripes and a bit of blob of orange and you're a tiger. Off you go, have fun.
Oh my God, you're selling the dream. I love it so much. Well, thank you so much for being here,
Thank
Nikki.
you for inviting
I'm so excited
me.
to have you on today.
Yeah.
Can you tell me what's on your docket this week?
Oh, so I have been thinking about this and I wanted to ask you a question because we'll be honest, this is our first time meeting.
It is our first time meeting.
And I would love to know if you are a believer in ghosts.
No way. Do you this is not our first time in meeting if you're asking me this question. I do believe in ghosts. Do you is there any reason why you ask me this question?
Yes, there is a painting that has been circulating for a number of years now, which is called The Anguished Man. Have you heard of this?
No.
Would you like to see it? Shall I tell you about it first before you make that decision?
Tell me about it first. Give me a bit of context.
Okay. So The Anguished Man is a haunted painting. So this painting was handed down through a couple of different generations in this family, and it has caused quite a lot of problems in the person that owns its home. So they've actually taken it out of their home and it is now in a locked storage unit because they were experiencing problems in their home from this painting. So this painting, they don't know who the artist is. It is anonymous, but the painting is said to be painted with the artist's blood. And then the painter unalived themselves.
Wow.
So they believe that this energy has gone into this painting.
So what sort of things have been happening to this family that have owned this painting for, I'm guessing, through generations?
Yeah, so crying has been heard in the house, like a man sobbing late at night, things moving around, and also like premonitions, like a man standing in their home.
Can I see the painting?
You can see the painting. I like to give people the option.
Yeah. Can I see the painting? Sorry, I should caveat this. I shouldn't just jump feet first into things. I should caveat that, or maybe ask you the question, Nikki. Is there anything bad in me seeing the painting? Is there a consequence of me seeing the painting?
So I did a bit of research into the actual painting and what's happened with it now, and the fact that it has been taken out of their house and they're not experiencing anything now makes me think that actually just looking at the painting is fine.
Okay,
I think if you own the painting, that's a different thing. So,
Okay,
are you ready?
Let me have a little
Shall I show it to the camera first?
show it to the camera.
Here we are. It's not the most delightful of paintings.
Oh, I mean, the signs are kind of there, aren't they?
Yes.
And this was painted in the artist's blood. Mm-hmm. That is terrifying.
It's not a happy painting, is it?
I'll ask the question back to you. Do you believe in ghosts, and have you ever had any sort of...
Yes.
You do? Okay.
I am a believer.
Okay.
I have been a skeptic throughout my life, and I'm still what I would call Still kind of take everything with a pinch of salt because you just never really know. And we don't know for certain what these things are. But I have seen things that I believe to be ghosts. And I lived with a little ghost boy for about 6 months. And it was in a house that was rented to us. It was rented to us for a short-term rent. And then when the owners were like, oh, we're coming back, I was like, good. You can have it back now.
Do you think the owners knew, or do you think you were the only one that was picking up on it?
You don't know with these things whether it's just your certain energy crosses over with theirs. And I know that sounds like really woo. But yeah, you don't know whether it's just you're on the same frequency that they are, so you can pick up on it and things. But this little boy didn't really seem to know that he was there. And I think that he was just replaying on a cycle. So something awful must have happened to him, because this is really horrible, but he was only half of a premonition.
Oh my God.
And I saw half this really rather decomposed looking boy crawling across my landing one night. And I was brushing my teeth because our bathroom was there, and then you went upstairs. So I could see from the mirror, and I looked and I thought, oh, that's weird. And I turned around and he's still there. So he's crawling along the landing through the wall. And yeah, and then things sort of started to click about other things that had been happening in the house. And in particular, the main thing was the cupboards in our kitchen were opening, but it was only the cupboards that were on the bottom row.
Wow. Wow. Okay. Let me unpack.
Yes, I know it's a lot. Nice to meet you.
I love you, Nikki, already. Okay. What was this the first time you'd ever seen or experienced something so vivid that felt really supernatural?
So I'd seen sort of wispy things before, but nothing so as clear as that.
What was because I'll be completely honest, I fully believe in this sort of stuff. I feel like I felt things and I pick up on energies. I haven't ever seen anything. And as a result, I don't actually ever know like how I would feel in the moment.
Yeah.
I believe something is there and exists, but the idea of me ever seeing something, I don't know how I'd process that information. How did you process that initial, okay, this is what I'm seeing in front of me and I believe this to be real?
I was terrified.
Was you terrified?
I was absolutely terrified.
Did he acknowledge you?
No.
Okay.
So he was doing whatever he was doing. So, you know, it felt very repetitive and like he had done this a million times before and I just happened to be in the way. So
was it one of those classic moments where you just sort of did you freeze?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was like, and I turned around and I continued what I was doing because I was like, surely that didn't happen.
Yeah, why do we do that? We just pretend that like
that's not happening, la la la.
Wow.
And then I sprinted up to my room and I closed the door and I was like, oh. But he'd gone by that point, so he had left. Gosh. But yeah, scary stuff.
That is fascinating stuff.
There's a tarot reader that I go to quite often, and she's brilliant, and she really believes in speaking to whatever it is that is potentially haunting you or giving you trouble. So you could ask them what their intention is and leave something out for them, leave an offering and say, is this what you want? Are you going to go now? And if they still remain, I would then seek somebody to get it sorted, because, yeah, you don't want to have that in your house because, yeah, not good.
How do you know the difference between a spirit that is not there to cause harm or not there to disrupt?
Most spirits really aren't there to cause harm.
Can you tell the difference between?
Yeah, I think so. And as much with this little ghost boy as his appearance was terrifying, I don't think he was there to cause us any harm. He was just stuck in his loop and just doing his same thing over and over and over again. But I've not ever experienced anything super negative, but most spirits are just either stuck on a loop or, you know, they are trying to come to terms with something that's happened to them. So you can speak to them. And I know that there's plenty of people that are able, you know, or say they're able to talk to spirits. So all of that sort of stuff, I think it's worth giving it a go, isn't it? But just doing it protected. think is a good thing to do, because you don't necessarily want to put yourself out there and end up with a really bad demon situation.
Yeah, right. Like
that would be a bad thing, a really bad thing. But no, it's I kind of skeptically believe in a lot of this stuff, and I think a lot of it comes from where I've researched these things for so many years and knowing that there are people out there that take advantage of this sort of stuff. So it's like I am kind of skeptical about a lot of it as well.
Fascinating stuff. Like this is one of those things that I could wormhole in and chat to someone about, someone like you all day.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I want to tell you what is on my docket this week, Nikki, very much in a similar realm. This was actually a statistic that I was really surprised about. There's been a new study that's just been done in the UK, and apparently almost half of UK adults watch true crime documentaries to help them unwind in the run up to bedtime, with 15% of those questioned saying they actually serve as an effective method to help them drift off to sleep. I'm surprised at that. Like, I know you're a true crime fan.
Yeah.
I love true crime as well. But do you watch it before you go to bed?
Absolutely not.
Neither do I.
Yeah.
Why do you watch true crime, and where do you factor it into your day?
Well, interestingly enough, I don't actually end up watching that much of it in my spare time, because I do so much of it in my day-to-day life and my podcasts and my researching and that sort of thing, my script writing. I find that by the time I've got to the end of the day, I'm like, the last thing I want to do is watch this. Sometimes I do, if it's kind of a little thread that I can go down that is easily closed. So if it's just like a 15-minute case, sometimes I will do that, because I'm like, oh yeah, it's closed and it's done and I can move on with my day. So that's the only time that I kind of really fit it in now. Or unless I've got a really long drive to go on and I've got a little series and a little something to listen to, then I will do that. But usually I just end up listening to real trash, to be honest.
It's nice. Sometimes you need that escapism though, right? I must admit, I love true crime whilst I'm working. I'll have like a split screen on my laptop where I've got a case on. I also follow a lot of like live trials as well.
Right.
So I just sort of background listen. But yeah, before bedtime, it's I have to put on I'm like a Disney film, like get me on a bit of Shrek or something.
Yeah,
like
otherwise
DreamWorks.
I'm like, what's that noise? Is somebody creeping into my house?
It's too much.
No.
Because you consume so much, I guess, true crime content in your work and in your day-to-day life, have you found that it's influenced your life in any way? Are there certain things that you do now that you feel like you've learned off the back of being across so many cases or delving into so much of this content?
Yeah, for sure. I never leave my front door open when I take the bin out, little things like that. I always make sure that if I know I've got a walk home to do afterwards, I'm never in heels, I'm always in trainers. Just like little things like that. I'm always aware of things that could happen. And my husband is such a Labrador and such a sweetheart that there's lots of things where he will trust anyone, absolutely trust anyone. And that's what I love about him. But I'm always like, no, nobody ever will come up to you or approach you in the street unless they want something. Like, everybody, I'm like, everybody suspicious.
I think one of the things that I constantly remind myself, and I tell all of my female friends this as well, I'm like, you need to remember, no man will ever ask a woman for help.
Nope.
No man will ever come up to you in the middle of a street or in a car park and say, I've got this really heavy thing that I need to unload out of my car. Can you come and help me? No one is ever going to do that.
Can you
please,
lift this into the back of the van
just
first?
Say no.
No.
Just say, no, sorry. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So there are many things, like you said, that I've sort of picked up on that I do as a result of watching just some of the most awful cases. And I think that's part of the reason why also a lot of women follow true crime, right? It's because it kind of gives you, there is this sense of, I don't know if it's necessarily security, but there's something in understanding how bad things can really be and the depravity of humanity that almost makes us feel a bit safer in a way. It's almost like it helps you to almost protect protect yourself, I think. Having an understanding of, how awful things really are out there. But one thing I do that isn't necessarily a safety thing, that is somewhat linked to, I guess, bedtime, is I always clean my house before going to bed, and I use true crime as a motivation. I've seen so many cases now and so many live trials, as I said, I'm a big fan of. And whenever I am laying in bed and I'm like, I'm going to leave the sink until the morning, I always think, God forbid if something happens in the middle of the night and detectives have to come in and take photos of a crime scene. A jury of my peers is not going to see my dirty sink or the hair down the plug hole. That is not going to be shown in court, I tell you. And that
would definitely be happening on mine, I'm afraid.
Gives me, not that I've ever judged anyone else's. Like, truly, I haven't. And what a silly thing to ever judge. But that personally gives me the motivation to get my butt out of bed and
that's a good rule for life.
Dishwasher on. I'm like, you're not catching me.
See, Cheryl and I, my co-host on Killers, Courts and Queens, we often talk about the picture they would use if you were to go missing.
Yes,
and
yes.
It would be definitely a front-facing camera of me like that with my chin down. That's definitely what's happening, because there's so many of those that I send to people for fun.
Do you know, this is really, really, really morbid. Me and my mum actually both do this. And I don't know if you've ever done this. Whenever I get on a flight, I look at who is getting on the flight with me and I think, could I see your face in the news if something went wrong, or if I'm getting on a roller coaster or something? I'm like, do you look like someone I would see on the news? And if they do, it makes me worried about sharing that mode of
It's a final destination moment.
Final destination vibe.
Yeah.
Some people have a final destination face, and I don't want to be on the same train, or on the same plane, or on the same roller coaster.
They've all got frosted tips and looks like they were in the 90s.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. This made my news bulletin. This week I found out, and I'm sure you already know this, Nikki, I found out how brooms came to be associated with witches.
Yes, I do know this. Flying, yes. Yes.
Do you know what, Nikki? Can I get you to explain it if you don't mind? Because it will be much more interesting, I'm sure, coming out of your mouth. I found this so fascinating. Tell me the history behind this.
So if I get any of this wrong, just pull me up on it. But I believe it's to do with the ointment that was placed on brooms.
Yeah.
And those brooms may have been put in certain places, which then caused a hallucinogenic effect, which then made people think that they were flying.
Yeah.
So, that's kind of how I know about it.
Me too.
And I think via the Museum of Witchcraft is how I learnt about this. So in Cornwall, there is the Museum of Witchcraft, and they have these incredible, anytime I've gone to go to the Museum of Witchcraft, it's always been closed.
Oh.
Every time I've gone. I've never kind of, planned to go there, but I've always been in the area and I'm like, right, now is the time.
You'll never see it. It's like
closed.
You'll never see Nikki in the Museum of Witchcraft in the same room ever.
But I have watched a few different talks that have been carried out by the people that own the Museum of Witchcraft. And yes, I remember them talking about these particular ointments. And I don't know what the ointment it was that they used.
One of them was belladonna.
Oh, okay.
I think, which came from a plant. But I just loved that. I loved that image of, I think it was women used to go off together into the forest, right? And then locals would say, oh, those women, unruly women, they're flying on their brooms.
Well, it's interesting you say all of that, because I'm currently researching a series. I'm doing a year-long series on Macabre London that's all about the occult. And so all of this stuff plays into it. And generally, I'm not going to ruin my complete final conclusion for the whole series, but the church didn't really want people to explore different ideas of spirituality or religion or different ways to live their lives that didn't benefit the church. So a lot of this persecution of witches just happened because of bulk standard mainline religion. So it's been an interesting one for me, because it's like, all of this stuff, it's like, and the church steps in. Oh, and now we're having a really nice time, we're doing some tarot cards, and the church steps in. It's like, and let's read some tea leaves. And then the church didn't want that. And it's like, okay, so here we go. So it's every single time in all of these different cases that I've been reading, it's always seems to be the church is the one that stops all the fun stuff from happening.
Right. Just let us go off in the forest with our brooms.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I want to do. Sounds way more fun than sitting at mass.
Do you have any witchy connections?
I don't really. I do like a little bit of spirituality, and I think there's kind of little witchy things that I do in my day to day that I think can't really hurt. And I love a salt bath. I can't go wrong with a salt bath. I've been thinking about recently sort of doing a little bit of candle magic and that sort of stuff, because I just think any of these things, if you like it and it brings you joy, what is the harm in doing it? And I just think, if it helps, fantastic.
Yep. I so agree. Do you know what? And even if you don't believe and strip the spiritual side out of it, some of these things are actually really great at viewing either situations or setting goals in a really healthy way. I did the it was 13, what was it called? It was over Christmas and it carried on into the new year. It was the 13 nights where every night you burn an intention for the following year.
Yeah, I did that too.
Did you do it as well? Oh, I kept forgetting, and I was like, is it okay that I burn two at once?
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
But that, even if you don't believe in necessarily you burning these intentions and you're giving them to the universe, it was actually just so nice to sit down and write out the things that I wanted to achieve that year and just sort of put them down on paper and then forget about them. So I do dabble in that, and I also have one of those money bowls. It's something that I don't know if your partner's the same. I very much influence. He's quite Labrador, my partner. So he wasn't really into this sort of stuff at all. Isn't into true crime. So I'm very much sitting on the sofa and it's like, what are you listening to?
Yeah.
Like, this is the most awful thing I've ever heard. And he's very trusting as well. But I've kind of got him into the money bowl route. And although he's not necessarily spiritual, I think that idea of setting goals and speaking things out loud is really healthy. I think everyone can get something from that.
Yeah, and I think also just a little bit of ritual in your life is not necessarily a bad thing. Everybody finds the things that bring them joy, and if a little bit of ritual every now and then, and just thinking, oh, it's full moon tonight, I'm gonna have a really nice bath. What's wrong with that? It's good, isn't it?
It is. It is. Oh, life's too short. You need a bit of. I'm someone that loves a celebration. Like I love a routine. I love a celebration. I love a change in a daily routine as well. So yeah, celebrating the full moon, I jump on board with. I'm someone that's not mad that Christmas is done and like Easter eggs are in the shops already. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I'm all right with that.
Like
too.
I'm like, we need something sometimes in life to give us a little pick me up.
Yes, little bits of joy. That is how to live your life. Just little bits of joy. If you can find a little bit every day.
It's so true.
Yeah.
That's such a wonderful note to end on, Nikki. You brought us so much joy. This has been the best convo ever. This is so up my street. And yeah, you've just been such a light today. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you very much.
Is there anything that's going on with you this year? Can we talk about your podcast?
Can indeed. So as I said, Macabre London, I'm doing a year-long series all about the occult, all to do with London and how it kind of formed and shaped the city. And also my other podcast, Killers, Cults and Queens, which I host with the incredible Cheryl the Queen, who is just fantastic, brilliant host and amazing drag queen. We cover true crime cases, history cases, mystery cases, you name it, we cover it. And it's all done with a little bit of joy de vivre as well. So yeah, we try our best to bring a little bit of light into the very dark corners of the world. And season 5 will be starting off in March time. So yeah, we're really looking forward to it.
Thank you so much, Nikki.
Thank you very much. We're going to go and run off into the woods now.
We are.